Welcome back to the audience. Let's not mess around at the beginning here. We've got a big, long episode to get through. So let me just start it off. I had a lot of candies from my friends, so I decided to evolve my Pignite to an Embor. I got some more candies from Rage while I was just standing around spawn. And I managed to evolve him pretty quickly. And that's what he looks like. He's looking pretty big, pretty tall, not bad at all. I had some candies left over, which, of course, I had to use to evolve my Pulpitar into a Tyranitar, which also looks pretty cool. Neither of them are a massive Pokemon, but yeah, they look alright. So I got back to my wooden shack, and I decided I wanted to go on an adventure. I thought it would be good to kind of get out of this area, see something new, and I wanted to go north because I hadn't explored in that direction yet. And so I wanted to do and see something new by myself, without Rage this time. He's lovely, but I do need to kind of get my own 2 feet on the ground sometimes. I was traveling north on my lovely flying Pokemon, and I came across a big destroyed mountain house, which, it was alright. It was pretty cool. It didn't have much going on inside. It was, pretty average, pretty mid. There were a few trainers in there, but they were either too high level or not even worth fighting. I do think I died at some point, so you're gonna have to promise to forget that. I don't want anyone remembering that bit. That's kind of embarrassing. Yeah. But anyway, I died obviously and came back. Honestly, there wasn't too much going on in this destroyed wooden house, so I decided to keep pushing and keep going further north. That was pretty much the only direction I wanted to go in. I found another forest village on my journeys, and I looked around, but I still didn't find very much. There are a few trainers. I tried to battle. I think I lost pretty much every time. Luckily there was like a healing box, so I used that, and I just kept it pushing. This adventure was not going to slow me down until I found some decent loot or a cool Pokemon. So as I say, I kept moving north, and I came across a very impressive looking house that was obviously built by a player. It reminded me of Rage's house that we saw in episode 2. Go and watch it if you haven't watched it already. It's a good episode. And the player wasn't there. I couldn't speak to him, so I had no choice but to keep it moving again. There's a lot of keeping on moving because the places don't seem to be that interesting. I did have a bit of an embarrassing moment, I will admit, just to you guys, and I misclicked accidentally. I kind of pressed the wrong button. I fell. Very embarrassing. But you're all going to have to promise to forget that again as well. There's a lot of things you're going to have to promise to forget in this episode. So yeah. Anyway, I managed to get back here from spawn, which was easy enough, and I decided to continue my travels. I saw many new biomes. They were looking pretty nice, pretty cool. A lot of new things. It was not anything crazy in terms of player builds or villages or loaded structures. But yeah, the biomes were nice. They were alright. But after a while, I did decide that my travels had gone on long enough, and there was not too much to see anymore. I thought I was just being very unlucky, I guess. So I stopped. I decided to head back to the spawn, see if I could see anyone else, meet some new people. I was very lucky because spawn was bustling full of people. There were tons of people here, and I can't quite remember what we were doing. You'll see on screen now.
That's my favourite Pokemon, really? You fracking what?
But it was a bit of messing around, bit of laughter going on, people discussing this and that. You know how it is. And we actually met up with a few people we know already. Sadly, Goose was not here at the time, but I did meet my good friend Rage again. He's just kind of messing around, showing off some great Pokemon. And I was introduced to a new guy called Orcs, and you'll see him for the rest of this episode. You'll see both of them for the rest of the episode. But yeah, he hanged around for a little bit more, and we just had a bit of a laugh. After messing around in spawn for a while, Rage decided he wanted to give us more tours of his various properties. So he showed us a casino, which actually he didn't own. It was probably the only building he showed us that he didn't own. But it was currently closed, but I'm sure one day I'll be able to come back and it'll be open and show you how it works. It looked alright, but some of his other houses were a lot more impressive, I must say. They were pretty cool. After seeing all of Rage's various properties, Orcs decided he wanted to one-up Rage and show off his own house. And we got there, and we got a luxury Orcs house tour. Orcs' tree house was rather unique, I guess you would say. I mean, it was pretty cool. It had a bunch of like vending machines and kind of stuff around that made it very nice. Gave it a bit of character. In terms of size, it was not as big as Rage's stuff, but you know, he's getting there. He's getting there. He'll make something big one day. I have faith. I think Orcs, when building the tree house, had the common saying "quality over quantity" in his head. You know, that's kind of the vibe I got from this place. But Rage, it turns out, also had another tree house that he wanted to show off, and so I guess I was going to be a bit of a judge, deciding which one was better, which one was worse. And I just wanted to check out Rage's one as well, just so I can compare, get a feel for the situation. When we got there, it was pretty clear that Rage had just made a poor imitation of Orcs' house. I mean, he was ultimately just trying to copy Orcs. There's nothing you can say when you compare the two, except for how nice Orcs is. I mean, Rage, he needs to get some original ideas, that man. He really does. I think Orcs tried to buy the place from Rage. I can't quite remember, but there was a bit of a bidding war going on. Orcs, how much money do you have? What's the budget today?
9k something.
They went back and forth on the price a few times, but sadly they couldn't come to an agreement. I don't think Rage really wanted to sell it, and I also don't think Orcs was offering nearly enough money, which was a bit of a shame because I was looking forward to getting some commission from the sale, but maybe I'll get him next time. To cool everyone down, we headed back to Rage's water temple, which again was lovely as always. It's very nice, still as big, still as dark, but yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. While I was there, I did realise though that I was the only one who hadn't shown off their house. Now, you've definitely all seen the shack that I currently live in, and so you'll understand when I say I wasn't exactly ecstatic about showing off what I had done, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I just had to get through it this once, and then we can move on to something else. Now, as if I wasn't embarrassed enough by showing off my tiny wooden shack, Rage decided he wanted to compare Pokemon. And we got actually, we couldn't agree who had the better Pokemon. The discussion was really between my Numel, which is this one, and Rage's Stinky Necrozma, which is that one there. I thought mine was obviously best. He wasn't going to hear it. So now I'm leaving it up to you, dear audience, If you think my Numel is way better than whatever Rage has, then let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you. If you don't think my Pokemon is better than Rage's, I don't really want to hear from you. Just move on, I guess. But anyway, after all that silliness, Orc said he wanted to move in next to me because he liked the area, and I guess he wanted some company. So Rage and I, being the generous people that we are, decided to help him move his stuff, which, of course is what good friends do. Orc said he wasn't exactly good at building. He admitted to himself and to us. So he requested that Rage and myself would build him his house. Now Rage and I considered this offer for about half a second before we said no. Instead, Rage and I decided to do the responsible thing in this situation, which was supervise Orcs' building from his own sofa. I thought it was a bit strange that the furniture was moved in before a single wall or roof had been constructed, but I'm not the one building it, so I'm going to stay out of it and just enjoy the show really. Now of course Rage and I had to make sure this construction project was up to code and everything was safe, so we conducted a classic health and safety inspection together. Okay, it had to be done. Now dear audience, I'm sure you could have guessed this, but this building unfortunately didn't pass the safety inspection. So Rage had no choice but to issue a fine to Orcs for these dangerous working conditions. I also caught a Fanpy on the nearby... A Fanpy? Oh my goodness. I also caught a Fanpy on the nearby hill because I thought it looked cool, but don't worry, I left in Safety Inspector Rage inspecting the construction in my absence. So everything was safe, don't stress. Now, we did actually run into another problem with this construction project because after further inspection, we realized that Orcs actually didn't have a building permit, which ended up being another issue that was resulted by a fine, basically. We fined them a second time. At this point, I felt a bit bad for Orcs because he had been fined twice, which is a bit much. But I decided to help out. He gave me some wood, and I built a pier, which I thought would just give a bit of character to the house. You know, you've got the water there, why not use it? Now, after working on the pier for a bit, my construction hands were a bit tired, and I'd definitely done my inspecting for the day. So I wanted to catch up with Rage, and I found him in between our houses, building something. I'm not sure exactly what he was constructing at the time. It turned out to be a wonderful bridge, but in light of this new project, I had to, of course, perform my duties, go into overtime on the inspection roll, and check everything was in order. Of course, it turns out Rage was fully within his rights to do everything he was doing. Safety was an A-star rating, all the permits were there, couldn't even complain. Took me all of 5 minutes. It was perfectly organised. I had to stop recording there, but when I came back the next day to check on the place, Rage and Orcs had actually both finished their construction projects. Orcs' house was looking fine. It was fine, I guess. And the bridge Rage had built was actually looking very good. I thought it was a very nice addition. This place had gone from being pretty empty and isolated, with just my shack in the middle of nowhere, to looking rather nice. But little did I know, dear audience, that this was actually just the beginning of what I had ahead of me. Seeing Rage and Orcs' projects, I actually wanted to start my own, and I wasn't in the mood for anything too crazy, so I decided to build a small greenhouse just off the side near my shack. This honestly was actually a really relaxing experience. I was just kind of chatting to Rage and taking things at my own pace, and I really enjoyed doing this build actually. It was very nice. It was good fun. Now, it only took a few minutes to finish the greenhouse. It was very simple, and there wasn't anything too technical about it. But yeah, I managed to finish it quite quickly. Of course, all the permits and safety inspections were done by Rage, which was all approved by him. So if anything goes wrong, it's his fault. But nothing has so far. It's all good. It turns out while I was building my greenhouse, Rage has set up a small announcement board. Now this board was announcing one thing in particular, and it was the fact that this place, this area, had now become a small village, and Rage had named it Lakeside Villa. The point of this place was for people on the server to come and visit the town, or the village, and the rule was that when you visit, you have to leave behind your own small house, shack, or shed, I guess. You know, whatever you can build, whatever you have time for. But just so everyone can add to the surrounding area, make the town look beautiful. Which I thought was actually a pretty cool idea. I was definitely on board with it. So I was interested to see how it might turn out. When I logged back in the next day, I found that there had been quite a few people that had visited the area and built a house, which was lovely. So myself, Rage and Orcs, we all took a tour of the village, checking out all the new houses, which were all unique and creatively built, and it was all looking beautiful. I mean, except for this one. But anyway, you can actually check out Unsorted Guys' 300 Days video, which explains why the house he built is so, I guess, different to all the rest, you would say. But anyway, the idea of everyone adding to the area actually worked really, really well. And I decided that if people were going to visit, I should make this place look pretty. So of course, I started construction on a small well and various other small decorations that you can come and see if you visit. The well took a while. It was kind of, it was hard to work out the proportions, but I logged in the following day and I managed to complete it. I added some surprises for anyone who's adventurous and would like to come visit. But generally it was quite nice, and I thought I was quite happy with myself. I spent a while relaxing around the village and meeting new people and visiting new builds, and everything was going really smoothly, and everyone was nice, very kind, very open. But it wasn't long before I wanted to start my own project once again. I decided I wanted to build a lighthouse on the hill, which I thought would fit in really well with the area, and it actually took a lot longer than expected. So unfortunately, you're all gonna have to wait until the next episode to see the lighthouse completion. I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've just put out episode 1, and I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who watched, liked and commented. I had some really nice comments from people. I'm putting them up on screen. I really appreciate them, and it's really good, perfect motivation for me to continue making these videos. So just drop a like or a comment. I love everything, so thank you so much. But now it's time for you to finish up and get out of here, I reckon. Time to leave. Off you go.